I'm Melly.
I'm Liam.
And this is Beggar's Belief, home of scams, shams, hoaxes, pranks, and charlatans. Someplace where you shouldn't believe what you hear because not everyone is telling the truth. Liam, banana.
Oh, excited to see me much?
It's very yellow for that.
Yeah, really yellow.
So, banana.
Banana.
Mm-hmm.
Banana.
So, pretend that you're peeling that banana, unless you actually want to peel the banana. If you feel like eating a banana during this, I won't say no.
I could use it.
Okay. Yeah. So if you look at the peel of that banana, for about 60 years, there's been a myth that that peel has a psychedelic effect, that it's called bananadine, and it started out as a hoax that took on a life of its own. We are going on a journey with a whole lot of little offshoots with this one.
I'm just really curious of how and why and who.
And I'm going to answer all of them. It's almost like that's the point of why we're here today. So let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. We're going to 1967 in Berkeley, California, eastern shore of San Francisco, home of University of California, Berkeley. And in 1965, an underground newspaper had been started there called the Berkeley Barb. It catered to the students of UC Berkeley, hippies, beatniks, California of the era, San Francisco, Summer 11, whatnot.
And Barb. No.
But who's Barb? It was actually started by a then middle-aged radical named Max Scher. So this isn't the point of the episode, but I ended up doing some research on Mr. Scher, and I have to share them. Didn't really intend for that to be a pun. Oh, God. So this is the man behind this newspaper that started this whole thing. Scher started out as a lawyer, but then went on to start the first desegregated labor union. He married one of Mexico's first female medical students, served in World War II before settling down in Berkeley. He enrolled as a PhD candidate before being thrown out of the college for, I'd forget what, and working as a taxi cab driver instead, and then getting into a polyamorous relationship. Before finally starting a bar called Steppenwolf that was popular with the beatnik crowd, but he had decided to sell it in order to start this underground newspaper called the Berkeley Barb.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're already, like I said, before we have gotten into anything, that is one hell of a life.
And I thought Cher had.
Oh, do you believe in life after barbs?
Yeah, do you? Talk about thieves.
So in 1967, Berkeley Barb was established as an important underground publication that was pivotal for the free speech movement that happened in the late 60s. And it gave a lot of time and space to topics the mainstream avoided: civil rights movement, protests against Vietnam. It was interspaced with psychedelic artwork, political cartoons. Advertisements featured local artists, musicians, theater groups, performances. But then, I read a couple of art issues, and there was an whole ad page for State Farm. This whole thing honestly was just
farmers. What?
This whole thing was there were so many times that I'm like, oh, that's really progressive, and then I'd read the next thing and go, oh yeah, it was the 60s. And it's like, oh wow, they're reading some really good stuff. Oh yeah, these were the boomers. Okay, it's a weird time capsule. They were one of the first classified sections in a newspaper in the country that allowed explicit sex personals, and also ran advertisements for porn for both gay and straight.
This was the original Craigslist?
This was the original Craigslist.
Hot damn.
Including occasional letters to the editor that were all capital letter rants. Yeah.
Just rage posts. This was the pre-quote of Facebook.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, for all of it, actually.
Yeah, for all of it.
No, I mean, it like I said, it was a bit of a journey to read because you had these really progressive articles, these really, oh wow, this is really important. This is so much.
And then Aunt Susie, who went down to the deli on 5th and was like, the cheese was off. The cheese was off. Let me tell you.
More like racism isn't the problem, and you're looking at the date going, honey, Martin Luther King is currently getting his steps in across that bridge when this is happening. This is not the time or the place, and a lot of, shall we say, not currently politically correct language for things, and yeah. So the Berkeley Barb birthed this. This is the first newspaper that printed information on how to get high off of bananas, which
useful information.
Yeah, you smoked bananas. to answer your initial question.
Oh, okay, all right.
Now, this is not true in any way, shape, or form. And throughout this entire thing, just keep that in mind.
So I will not go home and smoke bananas.
This does not actually work. It was March in 1967, and the people behind the Berkeley Barb were allegedly motivated by the 1966 ruling that made LSD illegal in the United States. The logic was that if they spread rumors that something really everyday, accessible, banal, like bananas was hallucinogenic, that it would spark this debate on criminalizing substances. How do you go about criminalizing substances? Can you criminalize substances? Whatnot. It was a hippie hoax that was designed to provoke conversation, basically.
Bait.
Sure.
Sure. I'm like, that's,
So the first article to mention this was titled, "Pick Your Load, Banana or Toad." Pick your load, banana or toad. Oh. It really sounds like a bad Jeopardy category, doesn't it?
Sure, yeah, that's the website that you would see that on.
To give you context, it's on the same page as an article on free speech, protest to building a new gas station, and an article about social workers getting arrested.
Oh, okay.
And then pick your load, banana or toad. The banana-based article is written very seriously, almost scientifically grounded, one might say. Oh. It quotes a doctor who remains, and this is their quote, not mine, bananamous.
Bananamous.
States that the peel contains arterenol, which affects the medulla of the brain and the nervous system, acts as a cardiac stimulant, and this all releases serotonin. Supposedly, the resulting high was supposed to be similar to the hallucinogen in toadstools or toad skins, which are two very different things that both happen to be called toads. This article also makes a point to tell anyone with high blood pressure to avoid it because it could cause hypersensitivity. This is the first thing that is in print about this whole thing in history. Anyone with their interest now piqued about this just had to read on to the next article. The title of this article was Mellow, Yellow, Bright, which starts by asking, are bananas just a current fad, a passing fantasy, but that a local group of banana enthusiasts thinks that the slender saffron goodies are to stay.
And sure they did. They did.
I claim slender saffron goodies.
Saffron?
It states that there will be a yellow power corporation distributing bananas, hiring up hippies to do the job, and paying them partially in banana peel.
What kind of cult? Bananamously in that cult now.
I quote, "At the world's first banana turn-on-in and the Sprout Steps last Monday, one of the deans, a campus cop, and a probably narc accepted a banana joint. They stated that another event would be happening shortly." So this is a really weird way to introduce this hoax, can I just say? Yeah, it's kind of comes a bit out of nowhere and does it in a really backwards way. And underneath that is a drawing of a bunch of bananas, and the next page was an advertisement for a burlesque. So really the context of this was interesting.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah. This is also where you will find the first ever written recipe for a banana joint, which is just freeze peels, put in blender, put in an oven for 200 degrees until it's dry. One line, real nice and easy. It doesn't stay that easy. Because this was the 60s, it warns that the poisoning from DDT that you could get
from cooking it
would be rare, but you might want to wash the banana.
That's insane. That is insane.
So before we go further, there's some indication that the hoax actually might have pre-existed the article slightly. Supposedly a singer-songwriter named Country Joe McDonald decided to promote an upcoming concert by driving around in a banana-shaped parade float. And as a joke, he was telling hippies that you could smoke banana peels. Just came up with that out of nowhere.
I was like, they'll do it. And then they did.
And then they
fucking did.
Yeah, that sounds about right. A different musician, though, can be credited for one of the reasons this kind of spread organically so fast. The year before, a Scottish singer named Donovan had released a song called Mellow, Yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it hit number 2 on the billboards. The lyrics included the lines, "Electrical banana is gonna make a sudden craze. Electrical banana is bound to be the very next phase. They call it Mellow Yellow." So then rumors spread that this was all about smoking banana peels that you would then put into what you would make by putting into an electric blender. That was not true. In reality, the titular Mellow Yellow was actually about an apparently popular yellow-colored vibrator that was being advertised in newspapers.
A different kind of banana.
Yeah, exactly. He was later quoted as saying it's about being cool, laid back, and also the electrical banana that were appearing on the stage, which were ladies' vibrators. Completely unrelated, but Paul McCartney is actually part of the background voice vocals on that song and played bass on it, completely uncredited. And Donovan helped come up with the lyrics to Yellow Submarine, so we're keeping it in the Yellow family. Theme. Yeah, exactly. So this story about smoking bananas made its way to the San Francisco Oracle and then spread to other underground newspapers in the era of on the wire service that existed at the time, but it was especially popular in college newspapers of the area. The articles I found from college newspapers were written in a very tongue-in-cheek, and you could tell that they were kind of in on the joke that this is to poke fun of the establishment. I found this from the Vedette, which is the Illinois State University newspaper, May of 1967, so only a couple months after this whole thing started. And I quote, I love this. Apparently, it was not enough for this generation of thrill-seekers to use illicit LSD, marijuana, and airplane glue. They have now invaded the fruit stand.
Not the fruits! Not the fruits!
The implications are quite clear. From bananas, it is but a short but shocking step to the other. Today, the cry is burn, banana, burn. Tomorrow, we may face strawberry smoking, dried apricot inhaling, or prune puffing.
I've puffed her.
I'm sure you have. I'm pretty sure there's probably picture evidence of it. So, elsewhere in these articles that were appearing on college newspaper, they called for them to experiment on the full extent of banana smoking with monkeys by saying they already were addicted to bananas, so you may as well run a bit.
Why not?
Yeah. And suggested that banana peels should be guarded in Fort Knox because they're so valuable. There were joking calls for the Banana Labeling Act of 1967, which would require that the peel of every banana be printed with, and I quote again, "Caution, banana peel smoking may be injurious to your health. Never put bananas in the refrigerator."
You know someone got sued because they didn't have that on a banana.
I have to agree though, don't put bananas in the refrigerator. That's just wrong.
It is. It tastes like fridge.
And turned brown, you know.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it's only good if you're going to be making banana bread in like a week, yeah. When the mainstream media did pick up on this, and they didn't seem like they were in on the joke that was happening. They took it very much in a think about the children.
Oh God, not the kids.
Not the kids.
Not the children. They started with the fruit, and now they're doing it to our kids.
The hippies will have too much potassium. They'll be just too strong. The New York Times Magazine article titled "Cool Talk About Hot Drugs" from August 6th, 1967, which discussed banana smoking along the discussions of other drugs. Another article reported about a gathering of banana enthusiasts in Central Park, saying that there were beatniks, hippies, and students, calling it a be-in, carrying a giant wooden banana and chanting "banana, banana," which I just picture like the Minions from.
Yeah.
There were reports that the FDA was going to be investigating the possibility that bananas might be hallucinogenic, but I could not actually find this report. It was one of those the press said that they were going to, but I couldn't find anything from the FDA, so I don't know how true that would be.
Hold up. So there is a slight chance that it's...
That the FDA actually went to see if bananas...
Actually researched to see if they actually had psychedelic. I wonder how those testing went. Like, I don't feel nothing yet.
So the United Fruit Company at the time had monopolies in multiple countries for the banana trade. They were literally created banana republics. And of course, they had to weigh in on this. One of their officials was quoted as saying, "The only trip you can make with a banana is when you slip on the peel."
No.
But the New York Times pointed out that the United stands to reap large benefits if the banana smoking wave catches on. So,
of course,
it's a huge cover-up about the bananas. Academics weighed in on this, with New York University researchers publishing an extensive analysis in November of 1967 with the chemicals found in a banana peel, and found nothing intoxicating or psychedelic in the fruit, as we all know, because it's just a fucking banana.
Yeah, it's a banana peel.
You can put them in your plants. It helps them grow. It's great for that. At this point, originators of the hoax had their laugh. They created this confusion. Yeah. The hoax did what it meant to be, to make people question what substances should be illegal. You know, it was a very hippie thing. It was a very 60s thing. And this prank should have run its course at this point, except for one person named William Powell was one of the people who read this and thought it was real. And the reason that matters is William Powell wrote the Anarchist Cookbook. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Okay, we'll talk about it in a second. It was originally written in 1970. It was full of illegal recipes and hacks, sort of survivalist, a lot lot of explosives, that sort of things. Yeah, more like how to make explosives.
Okay, all right.
But the banana peel hoax existed in there. And with that, it was unleashed onto a new audience, because what happened was this thing hit the early internet like crazy. I remember finding it in file transfers and whatnot. Like, we're talking old school internet. Mm-hmm. It was very popular there. And suddenly you had young Gen X, elder millennials finding out about banana peel. And it has been, of course, several steps removed now from its original purpose of pointing fun at the authorities.
Come on, guys, get the joke.
It's more like that the stuff that existed at that point was people who knew it was fake were poking fun at the people who were believing it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, and they just ran with the joke, creating web pages discussing banana smoking.
Now, mind you, all good and fun, but is there any harm in actually smoking banana peels? It feels like it.
So if you just went with the original version, no more so than any other smoke.
Okay, all right. I'm like, as long as it's not like some idiot's gonna hurt themselves smoking all these banana peels, thinking he's gonna get, you know.
I will say though, the later generations got pretty intense with their directions on how to process the bananas, and this is where harm could actually come in.
Accidentally making banana meth.
Not quite, but like it went from this like one line, just, you know, popping in a blender, to these really long, convoluted processes that included boiling and straining, or soaking them in Zippo lighter fluid and crystallizing it.
Oh my God.
And I found several recipes from like the early 90s internet, or the 90s internet, I should say, that, you know, have been archived. One recipe says that the first step is to obtain 10 pounds of ripe yellow bananas. Second step is to peel the bananas and eat it. I looked this up, and for the record, you would have epic but diarrhea like long before you could get through with that, and you could actually probably do harm to yourself. Another recipe says that you should save the banana fruit that you have peeled, save the actual fruit part, to eat while you smoke it.
Oh, for the money.
Yeah. But if you actually followed that recipe, it would take 5 days to process the banana peels into a smoking. So the banana would be they'd be mush. They'd be mush. This second recipe also says that in the 60s you'd need 200 pounds of bananas to make a banana cigarette, but that the potency of banana peels had increased by 20 times over. And there's also directions on how to alternatively consume your banana peels by eating them with dried peanut shells.
Oh.
Because, you know, if you're going to be eating the inedible section of something, you may as well develop on it.
Brings a whole new meaning to crunchy or smooth.
So these websites also coined the phrase bananidine that I mentioned in the beginning, that this was the substance in the bananas that was potent. Mm-hmm. And then they coined a whole lot more phrases that, again, are all completely bullshit. Supposedly, it was a psychoactive tryptamine which entered the bloodstream and is converted into bananodin. In the brain, the bananodin would be taken up by a group of receptors called bananosine receptors. Bananosine.
Banana.
And this new generation of prank really stressed that there was inherent danger to banana peel partaking, but that it could cause chromosome damage and could make men grow boobs.
That's what happened.
It's fascinating, though. If you find these web pages, and there's literally people in the comments section going, I followed this strictly. And you're like, at what point of the 200 pounds of bananas did you not go, this is a joke? This is a joke.
Why am I bananas?
Why am I eating this many bananas?
My bananidine isn't going to be able to handle all of this banana.
The banana receptors in my brain. So fallout of this, There's still schoolyard stories that pop up every now and then again about bananas. Like, to this day, in 1980, the Berkeley Barb went out of print. Following year, Max Scher, who started it, passed away from cancer. William Powell, who wrote the Anarchist Cookbook, went on to renounce everything about the book.
He's like, JK, I lied.
Yeah, he's basically grew up, matured, and became a very nonviolent person. He started a nonprofit organization for children with learning disabilities.
Oh, wow, good for him.
Never said anything specifically about the banana aspect of the book, but, you know.
Well, it's because he smoked about all that. Obviously.
It's the gateway fruit.
The gateway fruit. Mm-hmm.
Today bananas, tomorrow plantains. Finally, in the year 1988, the band The Dead Milkmen recorded the song Smoking Banana Peels, and I kept tripping over that every time I was trying to do research for this thing because, yeah. So, yeah, that is the story of how they spread the word that you could smoke banana.
Okay. Who the hell would want 200 bananas?
Well, not only that, but like, banana peels are not tasty.
No, it doesn't sound appealing at all.
Rub the banana appealingly against your microphone. Sensual banana fondles.
Banana fondles. Some ASMR.
Banana ASMR.
Take it from this side of the mic and don't believe everything you hear. Beggars Belief online everywhere you get podcasts.